former White House chief of staff during the Obama administration, former ambassador to Japan under the Biden administration, Rahm Emanuel. I wanted to get that ambassador title in because from the perspective of a diplomat, never mind an American.
Well, that meeting needs diplomatic immunity.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so talk us through what your reaction is to that, particularly as somebody who, never mind when you were ambassador, but when you were chief of staff to President Obama, you've been in many meetings like that, many meetings in the Oval Office, none like that.
No, listen, I mean, there's three things when I was watching that, three things or three meetings that I said I've never seen that before. That meeting, the time in the cabinet room where Nancy Pelosi stood up and said, all roads about Putin, all roads with you lead to Putin and Russia. And then the meeting in Helsinki between President Trump and President Putin, where the President of the United States took the side of President Putin and his word against the American National Security and Intelligence Committee. Those were three times I said, I've never seen something like this. In foreign soil, you're taking the side of a foreign leader against your own national security apparatus, or in that effort. But so what's the common theme here? In each meeting when the president gets hostile or a new low or a new precedent's been set because we've gone into what we call uncharted water, it's President Trump, President Putin, and the veracity of President Putin's word. Each time there's been an explosion, whether that's with President Zelensky, Speaker Nancy Pelosi, or in the case where the press is aghast and seeing President Trump take the side of President Putin and believe him and not the voice and the caution by the American intelligence community.
And knowing
that to me is earth-shattering.
And having all of that as a backdrop, what people in and around Donald Trump who were pushing him for this meeting wanted, and clearly what Vladimir Zelensky wanted, was to reestablish a relationship with the goal of finding peace. And how off track is that now, given what we saw and given what happened?
Well, two things that I think are real important to keep in mind. One is trust is everything. You can't do anything and I remember when we were trying to negotiate, and this is not even close to this realm, but between Japan and South Korea that have deep history, our own relationship, without that trust that President Biden had set up with the two leaders, they would have done the bare minimum, not the maximum. That was true with President Clinton. And when I saw in both the Y Plantation Agreement, also at Camp David between Prime Minister Ehud Barak and
There's no
Yasser
trust here
Arafat.
at all.
So trust, right, zero. So moving forward, you may have to have other people have communication, not the two heads of state in that area. The other thing, I think we're all reacting, if I could, traditionally in America, from President Wilson forward, you've had two kind of themes between an internationalist outlook versus an isolationist outlook. You're now getting a new paradigm, one of predatory versus principled. And it's a whole new world. And what we're reacting to, we've never seen the United States tell another country, we want your minerals. I mean, this put Lend-Lease program under World War II in a whole different category. We're telling Greenland, you're not going to have your sovereignty unless we have your minerals. Panama, we want our canal back. We've become predatory in our foreign policy rather than principled. And it's a different variation of the historic framework between an internationalist outlook versus an isolationist outlook. President Trump is not an isolationist. He is predatory in his behavior and actions when it comes to other countries and their resources. And he believes, like President Putin, like President Xi, that might makes right. And you either accept it or we're going to deal with you accordingly. And that's just a different language and a different perspective. That's not how we see ourselves. And to be honest, it's not how other countries and other people see us. And I take up one event from when I was ambassador. I was hosting an event for all the ambassadors from Africa. And he says, you have to understand, America is our benchmark. And so we're changing the way people view us.
Rahm Emanuel, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.